Welcome to Business in the Black, the podcast where we go beyond the highlight reel and get into the real work of building, growing, and sustaining Black-owned businesses. I'm your host, Brandon D. Morgan, and this season, we're taking a more intentional look at what it actually takes to build something that lasts. If you're in the idea phase, the messy middle, or scaling something meaningful, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
We're back, and you know I love to travel. So today we're in Texas. We're with Latosca Asbury. Latosca, let's give her a hand and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, well, hello there. My name is Latosca Asbury, and I am a real estate agent, writer, and now a published author of Home Sweet New Home. Thank you for having me on your podcast today.
So Latosca, you don't have the typical "I always wanted to be a writer" story. Something about a yoga class and you having some epiphany. Tell us more about that.
So right after my typical yoga class, because I would go 3 times a week, the idea came to me about writing a book. So as soon as I left class, I came home and I started writing about my experience in corporate America.
So you just start writing things down. So talk to me. Let's flesh it out some. Let's talk about Office Depot. Let's talk about 2019. Let's talk about you buying this 6-subject notebook and just starting to write things down. You know, what was going through your head? What were you writing?
All right, so I chose to go to Home Depot instead of going to the dollar store and getting those 1-subject notebooks. I said, let me go ahead and splurge and get the real fancy 6-subject notebook from Office Depot. And like I said, I just started writing down every job, every experience that I had. I wrote down my rights, I wrote down my wrongs, I wrote down my improvements, and I also talk about the OJT program. So if you all remember that from high school, it was the on the job training program where you could be in that program and you could go to school half a day and work the other half. Well, they teach you how to get the job. They teach you like little interviewing skills. They teach you how to do the resume, which you don't have nothing to write on there, and they teach you how to dress for the interview and things like that. But what they did not tell you is how to keep the job, the cliques, the corporate politics. They don't teach you things of that nature. And I feel like if their program is still around, that's some of the things that they need to teach. Because and I'm putting the responsibility on them because they are the teachers, by them not putting that piece in there, I lost a lot of jobs. I didn't really know how to hold a lot of jobs. I kept getting fired. I couldn't hold a job past the 30-day, what is the 90-day probation.
Yeah.
Couldn't get past that in high school, not as an adult.
Oh, so you keep a job now.
I can keep a job now.
Girl. Okay.
now, if I couldn't do that, then it's on me. But yeah, as a teenager, 90 days, I would be great. I was great. Like after 18, I was great to make it past 90 days. I was like, ooh, I got it.
You made it 91. You were like,
I'm in the door.
You was hired at this point.
Right. So like 19, I got my all of them are real jobs, but I got like my first real job at 19, working at a bank, and I was just so happy to make it past 90 days, get some insurance, 401k, and at that time, right. Get pension, which they don't do pension no more. I was that last generation to get a pension, and just to go from there, and that's when I learned about cliques and office politics and all of those things, because like I said, I didn't stay around past 90 days. You know, sometimes it wasn't even the 90 days. I didn't stay around long enough to learn about office politics, because it wasn't all them. It was me wanting to do my own thing versus trying to do what the company policies say do. And so
So, the whole book about learn how to stay on default jobs.
Basically.
Okay.
Basically.
You know what? I might have to go get that.
Well, everybody was anticipating that one come out, because see, I got fired from my hospital job, and everybody wanted to know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, just wait. I'm gonna put it in the book. Put it in the book. But so that book is going to help a lot of people to
get that 91st day.
Get past the 90 days, get your benefits, and just grow from there. And then also know when to leave. Don't stay around. This is not back when our parents and grandparents um, were out there working in corporate America. They had to stay because they have bills, they have families, but you have to know when to walk away. But have another job lined up. Just don't flat out walk away. Just know when to walk away.
So in addition to, teaching people how to stay past that 90 days, because I mean, again, I think I've named that when she said it's not done yet. Watch it. She's gonna say how to get to that 91st day. That's the title. I mean, I'm
No,
telling
the
you.
title is Fired from Corporate America.
God,
Straight
man.
straight up, just right.
Straight, no shakes.
Right.
So how did you go from that to writing murder mysteries to children's books to mental health? How do you decide, what book should I write next?
The ideas just started flowing. They just started flowing. And I'm so glad that I had that 6 subject notebook because then you can flip it and be like, okay, well, start writing on this story, flip this, start writing on this story, and then just come back, whenever you have time or just carve out some time and just keep writing, adding to the story. And the next thing you know, there you go, you got your book.
You've written over 12 books, and the one that you have published is the new construction book. Walk us through your thought process and how you decide which book gets published next and the timelines and do you wait months, do you wait years, do how does that work for you?
Ooh, so how do I determine which book come first? So it goes back to um, the professional editing services. So if I choose to do 10 cents per word or $2 per page, so I have to calculate up how many pages I have, and if I'm going to add in additional pages while I'm in the middle of editing, because that's what I did with the new construction book. I added in more words, and so that did push the cost up. And so how I determine which one is coming next is whichever one has the least amount of words. And so a lot of my books fall up under the short story category. They're powerful stories, but they are considered short stories. So
Being a real estate agent, you see a lot of different things go on, and different people have different thoughts about how to do this and how to do that. You mentioned in one of your books about this guy from Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta. And him wanting to buy up the block. Tell us about that. Tell us, did it work? Did he end up losing some things? What happened?
Okay, so shortly after getting my license, your phone listens to everything that you say.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start sending these different people to down your timeline. And you're like, oh, okay, that sounds good. So they just happened to send this guy down my timeline that was talking about buying up the block. Well, that sounds good. Buying up the block. Okay. So he formed this investment group. Okay, that's good. Well, he raised over, I want to say $11 million. And so the entry point was very low because when you start getting into these investment groups, the entry point is very, very high. And they do that to exclude a lot of people out because sometimes it can become a big time waster and people they really want to be in there, but if your entry point is $5,000, I don't have $5,000
to lose.
Right, to lose. And so, no, that's not going to work for me. And so he studied the community, which is not hard to study us. And he studied the community, our community, and he made the entry point very, very low. So it was $500. Okay, $500. Oh yeah, I can go find. Yeah, I can go find $500. Okay, and so thousands of people donated to the funds. Well, he didn't buy the block. He ended up buying a private home for him and his family, bought some property across the street, and he bought an event center. Now, I don't know if the event center was a part of the plan of buying back the block, but what I remember hearing on Facebook and YouTube was the sole purpose was to buy up the block. And so that was like a hard blow. I was like, oh, you raised $11 million. You don't see a lot of us raising $11 million.
Right.
And then you turn around and you go buy personal things with $11 million. Then, I do like the fact that you did buy the event center. It was a place for us to go in there and do podcasts, do movies and things like that. But if it wasn't a part of the plan, I think that was just completely wrong. And so a lot of people gave a little bit more than $500. Some people gave in the thousands, some people gave tens of thousands. And so I decided to write a book on investing in real estate to help my community. And then, if you do want to choose to do the group thing or the family thing, what I highly recommend doing, and I got this information from a real estate lawyer, because that's the good thing about having um, my real estate license, you have access to lawyers that you don't have to pay. You can just call them up and ask them a question. And one big tip that he gave me was, if you want to choose to do real estate investing, do a joint venture. So that's where you have an LLC and somebody else have an LLC. Y'all come together and y'all map out who's going to do what. Because if you just come together, 10 people coming together for one house, and you don't have anything mapped out, that's a quick way for you all to fall out
Really?
behind money. Well, I put $50,000 towards the roof, and you did $200 towards the plumbing,
And both of us gonna get the
and
$500.
both
H no.
right, exactly. So that's about the biggest tip that I can give you all. So if you're gonna come together, you, your brother, cousins, and stuff like that, do a joint venture. But I really don't recommend it. What I'm learning along this journey after having my license, information is free. Good information is free. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars. Now I know people have to get paid for their time and all those things like that. But if you really want some good information, it's actually free. So you don't have to go on social media and sign up for a coaching session for $500. You really don't have to do that. A lot. If you just hang around the right people, you can get a lot of information for free. You really, really can. But I do want you to buy this book. I do want you to buy
Hey,
it.
I see what you're saying.
Baby,
Coming up with the topics, actually writing the book. Those are the parts that you have control of, right? So a lot of people can write a book, put the book on Amazon or wherever else. I've called out two different names. Amazon. We talked about Home Depot. These people need to pay me. Y'all know how I am.
Right.
So in any case, when you are writing the book and just putting it up to sell it or whatever, that's great, wonderful. You have a book out there.
Right.
But talk to us about doing it the right way and the fees and the capital to start up. You said this was one of your major obstacles when you first started.
Yes. So the fun part for me is the writing, because writing comes natural, because I am an avid journal. I've been journaling since elementary on and off, and so that's the fun part to me. Now, what's the not so fun part is the editing, the professional editing. So you would do your rounds of self editing, because you don't want to just pass them over some raw material, because you're already going to give it to them in a raw form. So you want to make sure that you do your several rounds of self editing. You want to make sure that your story flows right to you. And so, like, the biggest expense that a writer slash author will have is the professional editing. Now, it sounds like it's affordable because they put it in as like 5 cents per word. So you think, oh, well, that ain't nothing. Start doing the math. You be like, wait, this can get up here $1,000.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have to be careful when you're selecting, and then this is a whole nother ball game. You have to be careful when you're selecting your professional editor, because, like I said, the 5 cents per word, it doesn't sound bad. Or you can say $2 per page, doesn't sound bad. But once you start doing the math, it's something completely different. Now, when it comes to selecting a professional editor, you have to ask how many rounds that you get. Most editors, they're so confident in what they're doing, which is no problem with me. But when you're a first time author, you want to make sure everything is right. And so as I start releasing more books, all of that'll start to taper down, because I'll be more confident. But this time, it was just a little bit scary. So most of the editors that I was looking at, they was only doing one round. I was like, I can't give you $1,000 for one round of editing, because it's like, well, what if I don't like this? Once you do your editing, right, that's it. And then it's like, well, if I go in there and change something, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to call you back. And either you probably gonna charge me the same fee, or you might discount your services. But I don't want you to do that. But that's another expense. And so with me, I had to keep on looking. There was some that did two, and I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Then there was one that did three. I'm like, that's what I need. I need three, because some of them do different levels of editing. So I took the top level, which was the developmental, because I'm like, I want you to see it, do this flow right to you, because this is, to me, it sounds right to me, but I am not the expert. You are. So I want to make sure that I got the punctuations where it's supposed to be. I got the grammar where it's supposed to be. It reads right. It's flowing right. And so for me, that's who I chose to go to. And then, for as finding a publishing house, you want to make sure, and this is just my thing. Now, if you don't have a budget, then you can go hire an editor. You can go hire a
Yeah.
publisher now. But if you're working on a budget, find a publishing house that offers editing services. They offer formatting. They offer book covers front and back, and then they offer the self-publishing thing where they set it up for you on Amazon, and they set it up for you on like Indigo. Publishing house, so they can disperse it out to all the retailers out there. Because if you start doing that stuff individually, it starts to add up. So make sure that you find. Well, I made sure, I'm pitching to y'all, like, make sure you find. I made sure that I had to find a publishing agency that did all the above. So
Sounds like that people need to be going into editing as a career.
yeah.
As English majors, baby, you can make rocket sound.
Yeah. That's who you want. And speaking of, that's who you want on your team in a way. So you want an English teacher on your team. So if you're serious about writing a whole bunch of books, and that's no shade to the other professional editors out there, but you want an English teacher or an English professor on your team, because you want it to sound professional as possible. You don't want it to sound real hood, because I followed a lady. I followed a lady. She would read these books, and I'm just like, ooh, no. I don't want my book to sound like that. And especially when you have educational books in your collection, you want to sound like you're polished and you know what you're talking about, and you just don't want to sound any old kind
That
of
real hood is crazy.
right. You're right. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to do that.
It seems like a common theme for you is do's and don'ts. I mean, your first book about corporate America, or the book about corporate America, not necessarily your first book, but the book about corporate America talks about do's and don'ts, and now you have a do's and don'ts list about publishing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
talk to me about some of the things that you learned after publishing.
Yeah, so after publishing my first book out of my collection, so it wasn't the first book that I wrote. It was like maybe book number 6 or 7, somewhere right around there. It just happened to be
The first one that went to
the
publishing.
first one that went to publishing, and the less expensive one to go to publishing. It was 77 pages. The rest of them are in the hundreds, and so yeah, adding the cover and just being confident in your work. Because, like I said, once you release it, that's it. Now you can pull it down and do a revised copy and all of those things like that as well. Next year, I'm planning on building a team when it comes around to my books, because I'm independent, so I can't go and say, "Well, such and such public house did that." Well, when you see the book, it doesn't say such and such public house, or it don't say Professor Greensboro edited this book. Everything is on you, so you won't see any of their names and stuff on there. So you want to have your do's and don't list.
There are several ways to finance your business, and one in particular that you've tried and kind of had minimal success with is grants. You talked about how hard it is to really get the grant as a Black entrepreneur. Give us those experiences. Talk to us about that.
Ooh, and this is in my personal opinion, my personal experience. Grants just didn't work for me. They just didn't. They were, to me, in my opinion, it was just a waste of time. You could be sitting in front of the computer for hours and hours at a time, and they'll still go and pick someone else. And then, you be wanting to know, well, what is it that you're actually looking for? What is it that you want me to say outside of, hey, I need some I need some money for my business. How else you want me to say it? I mean, I've told you that I need money for marketing. I've told you I need money for professional editing, for the cover. I've told you everything that I needed for my business. What more do you want? And to me, in my personal opinion, it was just a waste of time. That's not to discourage people away from applying for grants. Go ahead and and see how it works for you. And then when you start getting into like the cities, I know my city, they have a business center, and they tell you, oh no, it's not no grants out there. So you're going to hear a lot of different things. So you're going to hear there's not no grants out there. You're going to hear there's grants out there. Then you're going to hear, oh, we have grants, but pay me for the grant list. I'm like, Well, the business center said it was no grants. Then you're saying it is some grants. Then you're saying it's some grants, but in order for me to access the list, I got to pay you. So, just be careful of those. And those business centers, they want to prepare you to get a loan. And I wanted to
Mhm.
make that to be like my last resort. So, um, try to do fundraisers, and that too is a stretch, just depending on how many financial supporters you have out there. Because had, I have tried doing fundraiser. I even hired people to help me with the fundraiser. That didn't help at all. But I mean, I did raise a little bit of money, but I didn't reach my goal. And again, be careful with those crowdfunding sites
Mhm.
because some of them, if you don't say like you set your goal for $5,000, you don't raise the $5,000, you don't get the money at all. And I'm just like, I think that's wrong with. Hey, if I get $3,000 and
Yeah.
I know how
Yeah.
to work with it. I can budget.
Community building is important in anything, whether it be professional life, personal life, whatever. You say that you struggled, infiltrating the cliques, and that's really real, but it's also very discouraging, to know that it's hard to. There's a group of people over here, and it's like, oh yeah, we got it, and we're not going to let you through the door. So you have gatekeepers. Talk to me about that, and how that's worked for you or not worked for you as a solo author, realtor, what have you,
Yeah, so one of the biggest things in entrepreneurship is networking. So you have to get out there and network so that people can see you, so they can know what it is that you are offering, whether it's a service or a product. And so my experience has been with networking has been, oh, okay, you already have your favorite people that you want to support. You already have like your money and all of this stuff. So you already have your resources, and you already have people that you want to give the thing to. And then my whole thing is, well, why do you want to make a big community event when you already got the 5 people that you want to support? So why do
yeah.
you want to bring out hundreds of people and then play in our face, and you already have your 5 people sitting over here that you already gave the resources to, you already gave the money to. Now, this is going to be a catch-22. I mean, I've had it up to here with the with the networking events. I mean, I still have to get out there, but I've had it up to here, and I have just narrowed it down to the ones that I want to go to, because all the ones that you see on social media, some of them look like who did it and why. I'm not going to come over there.
Yeah. They offer the money to the people that they say they just went to dinner with the other day.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how you know them. All are supposed to be anonymous.
Right,
Right. I'll
exactly,
make sure you're right now.
exactly. We supposed to all come to the door. We don't know each
Yeah.
other.
They
And,
saw the same ad I saw.
right, right, exactly.
Apparently not.
Right. And so that's just been my experience. I'm just like, you really have to narrow down which ones you go to, because a lot of this, what I've noticed on social media is they're just making content for social media.
Mm.
They're not out here to help you. It's just, oh, let me get some pictures, let me get some video footage for social media, because so I can show social media and other people, hey, we are helping the community. Oh, you're helping the community, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, why is such and such over here is closing down? And why is this restaurant over here asking for $2,000? And why is this one over here talking about some? We had to reduce our hours because business is not what it used to be. And I'm just like,
And
oh,
all y'all in the same room.
yeah, we all in the same room. So why are we? Why some of us are struggling? Why 95% of us are struggling, and the 5% of you all are still doing good, going on to do other projects. You think I don't see you, but I see
Mm.
you. And I'm gonna tell you what worked for me. I'm giving y'all my tips today. So I gave you the joint venture tip. So I'm gonna give you another tip. So I'm down here in Texas. Try Texas A&M Entrepreneurship Clinic. They will help you to get a LLC. Now you have to pay for the filing fee. Well, for the state of Texas, you have to pay for the filing fee, but they will make sure that the thing gets filled out. They will make sure you have an operating agreement. They have a trademark clinic. They have, but that's another thing. We have the ideas, but we don't know how to trademark. They have that there, you all. It's free service, so it is student lawyers, and they do have an attorney sitting by them. So it's not like you and the student, it's you, the student, and the attorney. So they will be able to help you. So those of you all that's in the Dallas Fort Worth area, call Texas A&M entrepreneurship clinic and let them help you all because they can help you with copywriting. They can help you do a lot of things because I know you see all the glamour and all the videos after they've been edited and it looks good and they look like they're winning and they're still not teaching you how to operate as an official business. So start there, tell them, say, hey, I need to get an LLC. I need to get the trademark together because I see a lot of you all out here cooking. Trademark your stuff before somebody come and take it and trademark it because it's whoever trademarks it first is the one who gets it. Mm-hmm. So you want to come and do that. Come down to the school and let them help you. Yeah, I know sister so and so is out there. She's doing it and charging thousands of dollars. Plus you have to pay the filing fee. Just go down to Texas A&M. I went down there for my books. I got my LLC. Go down there, you all give them a call.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of resources are out there for at these colleges and universities, and you just got to go do it. Yeah. So whether you're in Texas or you're in California or New York, wherever, call them and see what they have to offer. You've given us some valuable insights on community colleges and things they have to offer, and now you're talking about Texas A&M, so absolutely.
Yeah, call them because hiring a lawyer is really, really expensive, and a lot of us, when you're in that startup phase, I don't care if you selling thousands of plates going viral on social media. A lot of us are still we are still in the startup phase, and you need to get down there and talk to them, and save your money and just pay the state fees. Yeah, we don't even get me started. We are just going so viral, and we think that that's business. And going viral is not a sustainable business, okay? Just because somebody likes your pound cake or your sweet potato pie, what is it now? Golly, it was tuna macaroni.
I don't know.
It was tuna macaroni. So now it's tuna macaroni. So this lady is going around to the different cities, and they are saying that her tuna macaroni is really, really good. And
it's probably tuna.
Yeah, I didn't even think that. Because I didn't even think that. Yeah, and then y'all don't know if these people have food handling license. That's another reason why y'all need to get down there to these schools and tell them, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. Who do I need to talk to at the city about getting food handling license? Because I've seen people tell on people and get their stuff shut down by the health department. So that's another reason you want to make sure you go down there and talk to them so they can tell you the proper steps to do your business right.
So a few minutes ago, you talked about marketing being something that's really important. And all of us know that, marketing is important for marketing your business because if you don't market it, people don't know that you exist. So now talk to me about the No Limit Soldiers.
All right. So we know that a few weeks ago, they just got through doing a powerful, and I do mean a powerful concert. It took me back down memory lane for those of us that's old enough to know about them. And so what I made reference about No Limit Soldiers. So, we've all seen them go through what they went through when they was, out there, and then when they all dispersed and went all their separate ways.
And for our younger audience, who are the No Limit Soldiers?
So the No Limit Soldiers consist of Master P, a few of his brothers, and a lot of people from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay, make them say,
yeah.
Okay. Juvenile.
No, that's separate.
Oh, that's separate. Because we said New Orleans, so I'm like, okay.
Well, Juvenile. I mean, they all of them are from New Orleans. They just from different sides.
Okay, so give them. You got Master P.
So you got Master
C Murder.
C Murder. That's the brothers. Sip the Shaka. Those are the three brothers.
Take me on down there.
We got Mia X.
Okay.
Let's see, Soldier Slim, which he's rest in peace. So Mr. Magic, Mystical.
Mm-hmm.
And
she know him, don't she?
Right, that was my era.
Okay.
And so that's all No Limit Soldier. And so then we had Cash Money records. So that was Birdman, Baby, Manny Fresh, Juvenile, Wayne. So that was like the core that we know. And so when you seen them on stage, you could tell. Okay, both record labels have been through, their fair share of things. We've all seen it play out in social media. And so when it was time to do the concert, everybody for No Limit Soldier showed up. Everybody that was alive showed up. You talking about support. But when you saw Cash Money, Wayne wasn't there. It was some more people that wasn't there. They had some stand-in people. To me, I think it would have been a tie if the core was there, with No Limit Soldier score. But, still, No Limit Soldier did good and they won. That's my opinion. And when I made reference about No Limit Soldier, how they supported each other. They came together like nothing ever happened, and they did have a lot of things happen behind the scenes with the money, the records, the contracts. But when it was time to come together for their verses, they came together like nothing happened. If you saw the way they performed, which we all saw the way that they performed, you would have never believed that any of those things happened like
Yeah.
they happened. But in business, that's the type of support that I want and that I am seeking, because you need that support behind you. Because when you're a one man show, it's kind of hard to try to sell or offer your services. What it is when you don't have like a team behind you, it's
Right.
kind of hard. And that's why I was making a reference. I said, see, I want something like that. No matter what we go through, we're going to still be together. We're going to support one another. And that's what I was making that reference to.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
So really, you're building a team of no limit soldiers for marketing and for publishing, because you
Right.
talked about establishing your team for publishing, and it's something that this audience should remember is you can't do it by yourself. So you got to have other people around you that are supporting you, that believe in the vision,
Right.
that can help you to push your things forward.
And sometimes that support system is not going to look like family. It's not going to look like friends. It's going to be strangers.
Mm,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's huge for
Because we
people.
think, because we think as soon as we get a business started, oh,
Our
you,
people that we talk to every day, they're gonna be with us.
yeah, and that's not, yeah. Oh, I make the best pound cake. Oh, well, girl, won't you start a business, a dessert business? Oh, okay. Well, don't expect,
Them to buy your cake
right.
or to tell people about your cake.
Yeah, don't expect that, and you have to be okay when you when
She's
you an
gonna have to be
entrepreneur.
okay.
You gonna have to be okay, because I'm telling you, those emotions are gonna weigh you down. The negativity is gonna kick in. So a lot of that stuff, you just gonna have to tell yourself, I'm okay. If they don't like what it is that I am offering, I'm okay with it. They are still my friends. They're still my cousins. You're still my siblings.
Think of a topic, write about it. That's really your motto.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's what she said earlier. Hey, it just come up in my head and I just started to write. So we've talked about corporate America. We've talked about investment real estate. And now we're talking about mental health. What led you down that road? I know you talked about, your own personal mental health and, using yoga, and then, people not being able to really afford to go to therapy. And everybody, therapy's great. We've had therapists on the show, and so we understand the importance of that. So just talking about, all the things.
All right. So one of my books in my collection is on mental health. So that's one of those taboo subjects, right along with money, that we do not talk about in our community. And I just want to share my story, talk about all the medications that I was on, my experience with them, and then the fact that I just went cold turkey. But don't do that without talking to your doctor. I just went cold turkey. I just got tired of being a lab rat, because after a while, every time you go in there, you tell the doctor, well, okay, I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing that, and she can't even get the prescription pad. This is before they went digital. Get the prescription pad out and just write out me a prescription. I know one of my prescriptions was I could go up and down on the milligram as needed. And then a friend of mine told me, she said, you keep on doing that, your body is going to get immune to it. And that's exactly what happened. My body got immune to it and it wasn't working. And so this last medicine that just made me say, I'm going to leave it alone cold turkey. I was leaving the dentist and I was coming home and I was at a light and I zoned out and I didn't know that I had zoned out, and the light turned green and the car behind me, I'm mad at the car behind me because I'm like, you ain't even blow the horn to let me know that the light.
Right.
Look, you on the same medicine as me. And so I said, well, okay, no, I can't. I can't do this no more, because she was giving me the same options as the other medicine. You can go up and down if you needed it. And I'm just like, no, I got to leave this alone. I got to find me an alternative, which, I'm not going to say it's nothing wrong with medicine. It just wasn't for me. I mean, I tried it, but it was just, when I say the medicine and perms and prescription shampoo, all of those three combinations together, hair coming out. I just had to look at the big picture. I said, no, I don't want any more prescriptions. I got to go find me an alternative. And that's when I seeked out yoga. And I know I was experienced that we're going to say about yoga, oh, it's devil worshiping. Oh, no, but it helped control my anxiety. To me, it did 12 times better than the medicine, because I was under extreme pressure working in corporate America. When you're working at a bank, you're working with people's money. And, we've seen in these videos and movies and stuff, start messing with people's money and see how ignorant they can be. These are not personal people, these are businesses. And so, you got to move swiftly with them because they got stuff coming in and out of their business accounts, and you got to stay on top of them. And it's a production basically. Even though it's a bank, it's a production, and you got to stay up, and process these accounts. And this is paper checks, and so that lets you know way back in the day when businesses were still operating off of paper checks and it was printing checks. But this is real old school, and so we all know the what is it, the business days it take for checks to process. Yeah.
Run me my, don't put a hole on my mouth.
Right. And so I mean, it was pressure, and I'm talking about pressure where it was just affecting my breathing. It was just affecting just my everyday life. And I said, well, no, the medicine wasn't it. And so that's when I picked up yoga. I started going 3 times a week, just learning how to breathe, move and breathe, because yoga is just movement and breath. And so you just have to bring those two together, and that really, really helped. And therapy, but let me tell you about therapy. Let me tell you my experience on therapy. So I started seeing a therapist in high school, and in our community, that's not you don't supposed to go do that. You go talk to the pastor. And so, it was hard to talk to a stranger about what's going on. And so, I did a little bit of that, and I left it alone. And then as an adult, I said, well, okay, I think I'm ready to go do it on my own. It didn't work for me because I still didn't say.
Just didn't say what you need to say.
Yeah, and all I did was I wasted my money, the insurance money, and I wasted the therapist time as well as my time. And my point is this: if you're not going to go in there and tell the truth, don't waste your time, don't waste your money, don't waste the insurance money, don't waste the therapist time, because that slot can be for someone else who's going to come in and tell the truth. Now, I'm not saying like when you go in,
they're gonna tell the truth.
they're gonna tell the truth. Now, when you first go in there, no, you're not. But by the third visit, you should be
building some type of rapport.
Yeah, you should be doing something by the third visit. And that's just wasn't me. And I was changing different ones. I said, well, let me go get a black one, because at that time when I was going to see them up in the early 2000s, it wasn't a lot of black therapists that's out here now. It wasn't a lot of them. So maybe that was the problem, that they didn't look like me. And it was just you opening up to somebody that don't look like you. It's like, no, that's not gonna work. But that happened even with a black therapist.
Still didn't feel
Still. So I just went back to whoever accepted my insurance at the time, and we went from there. And still, just I was like, no, nothing worked like yoga.
Yeah.
Just nothing worked like yoga.
So it sounds like the mental health book is more about your journey with mental health, and your journey with medications, your journey with yoga, your journey with therapy, and not necessarily providing advice, but you're telling your story in hopes that somebody will gain something if they had not thought about yoga, if they had been on a lot of medicine and felt that way that you felt at the light or what have you, that they're not alone. And it's like, hey, maybe I need to shift my medicines and talk to my doctor about that before coming off cold turkey. And again, if they've gone into therapy and it's not working, well, am I telling the truth?
Right.
So I see what. Okay. Right. So you're not speaking from a clinician's standpoint. No. You're speaking from, this is my personal experience, and I hope that it's a autobiographical way to help you to navigate through mental health challenges. So, Tosca, you said that journaling is a part of your mental health regimen. All right. So you enjoy writing. That's something that you've always enjoyed doing. What would you say to the entrepreneur who may be struggling with their mental health, and how journaling could be incorporated into their practices?
Okay. So by being an avid journal writer, so how has it helped me being an entrepreneur? Again, you can just write down like your rawest thoughts. Like for an example, say that you went and you went to this networking event, and you can just write down all of your thoughts about that networking event, your feelings, how you think it went, was it a waste of time? Um, for me, like social groups, uh, journaling provided an outlet for me to realize that these 2 particular social groups was just not for me because I kept writing down all of my experience. So, because you got to try things out. You just can't just go one and be done. No, you have to, just stay around a couple of months and write down your experience when you're around these groups. And by me journaling, it helped me to see, okay, no, all right, they keep promoting such and such. And I'm telling them, I'm over here with a yoga class, and you all over here going to the fitness class over here. Okay, yeah, I see y'all. Okay, over here in this social group, okay, you're supporting this one and this one and this one, but I'm over here telling you I need XYZ. Well, okay, the journaling, and I was talking to some people because you got to be careful when you're in these circles because you don't know who and who's ready to go back and say, yeah, you see over there, she said this, and that. And that's where the journaling comes into play. So because when you're in entrepreneurship, you never know who. So that's another one. Get that subject notebook out and get to writing all of your feelings down. And so I don't go back and read because I know some people say, I go back and read my journals, all my old journals. Well, I basically know what a lot of them say. So there's no need for me to go back and read them. But I started, putting all the pieces together. I was like, yeah, I don't need to be in this group. I don't need to be in this group. I just had to remove myself from those two groups because they were not helpful for me.
The goal of your writing is to help our people. So, what is it about your style of writing or your writing in general that sets you apart from what's already out there?
Ooh, good question. So, what's going to make me, I really don't know what's going to make me stand out from the other independent I was gonna say artists. Is that something coming up, Lord? Okay.
Okay.
What makes me? I really don't know what will make me stand out as an independent author because, yeah, it's a million books on romance out there. It's a million children's books out there. It's a million books on real estate. There's only a few of them out there on new construction. There's a million books out there on mental health. So I really don't know. I mean, that is it's going to be authentic.
Mm,
It's just going to be authentic. It's not going to be researched in a medical journal book. It's not going to be. It's just going to be authentic. It's just going to come directly from me.
got
Yeah,
it. Well, that's something to set you
yeah,
apart
yeah.
because a lot of people think that you in order to write, you've got to be researched, you've got to be this. So you're authentic and raw.
Yeah, authentic. Most of them are going to be authentic and raw. Now, now, the investment book and the new construction book, I did have to go do research on those two, but I did that through uh, my connections that I built over the years.
Success is important to everybody, and your metric is pretty simple. Get the book published, make some money.
Right.
That's it. If the book gets published and you make some money, check,
Right.
success.
Right.
All right. So talk to me about being an independent author and fighting against those big publishing companies. How do you stay motivated? How does that work for you?
So you know what? I don't really look at them as competition because I guess because how it is in real estate, it's 150,000 of us in the state of Texas, and so some of us hang out and some of us don't, and we just don't look at each other as competition.
Hmm.
I don't look at the authors as competition. I know they have bigger budgets than I do, but I just stay focused on the message that each book is going to deliver.
Great.
That's it.
Awesome. You mentioned ebooks. You mentioned handheld books, but you're also getting into audiobooks because that's what the world is going to. When do you plan to make that transition, and what's the plan there?
Ooh, yeah, because digital is where is it? You all don't go to the bookstores anymore and pick up books like back in the day, but I get it. I get it. It took me a while to switch over to listening to books instead of reading them in my hand. Um, I eventually want all, well, it'll be 11. So I eventually want all 11 of my books to be converted over to digital books. So therefore, if you're out walking, you can still listen to my books. If you're doing the dishes, you can still listen to my books. Now, the thing is, who voice I want to use, or should I use my voice? Because some of these books that my friend over here been putting in the collection for us to read, a lot of those voices sound the same. I'm like, Lord, is the pool small? I mean, I'm like, I heard your voice in this book. I heard, so I really don't know. So it's boils down to whose voice I'm going to use. And I know a lot of people gonna say, use your own voice, but yeah, but when you're recording, you can't be tripping over words. You can't be saying stuff that's not there. And see, that's me. I'll say some stuff that ain't there. I'll go all off topic, and you can't.
Now you gotta do that.
Right, you can't do that, And
People
so,
gonna be like, "What?
wait a minute, what? That's not in the book. And so, so yeah, so I do plan on catching up with technology, y'all. I'm gonna catch up with technology, but it's still a few. I don't know. Now you're making me really think of this time to start planning for
It
2026.
is. It is.
I
I
don't
mean, it's
know.
2026 now.
Yeah, I don't know. So I might do away with print books.
I mean,
I might. Yeah, I might. Oh,
and
okay.
that might push it out a little quicker.
Yeah, because that will.
Then you gotta worry about the words.
Right.
Or
Well, no,
the
you still
pages.
got to worry about the words. I won't have to worry about doing book covers.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, because you gotta worry about the words for the editing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still have to do the editing. I don't know,
I'm not a writer, so y'all know.
y'all heard it first from me. I might not do print books anymore.
Huh.
Yeah,
At least to get you rolling.
Yeah, I might not. Okay, I might stick to just ebooks.
Y'all just
And-
imagine Latasca reading her own books. They ain't gonna tell her what we gonna be in there something like. Okay.
So I don't know. I might not do my own books. So I know me. I'll start out reading word for word, and then I'll jump off, and then somebody talking in the background.
She over here talking about blessed assurance.
Right. And y'all be like, she didn't say that in
That ain't
that
got
book.
nothing to do with new construction. Yeah.
But yeah, y'all, I might have to do that because that can save a lot.
Speaking futuristically, whenever you do decide to, publish the books or what have you, we know you have an investment book coming, but you also have a cooking book.
Oh,
I mean, can you cook?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you cook good, or you just can cook? Like you following recipes, or I mean, you cook from scratch? I mean, what's the deal there?
Okay, so with the cookbook,
See how quick that was. It's just, can you cook? That's all I'm asking. Can you cook? Because see, some people just, they fall and grow in them recipe, but they can't cook. If they ain't got the recipe, they can't cook. So I just want to know, can you cook?
Well, I just cook for myself. I don't cook for people.
Now you cooking for people with this.
No, I'm sharing my favorite recipes that I like to cook at home.
Oh,
so you can cook it in your kitchen.
Oh, and then how it tastes ain't up to you.
No,
what kind of? You know what?
Well, see, what the book is going to be. It's going to be like you're going to do your own thing. So you're going to use your favorite seasonings, because I know a lot of them say use turmeric or use curry powder, and sometimes that stuff is not available in the grocery stores, especially in our neighborhoods. A lot of that stuff it's just not available, and yet. And so I said, well, okay, let me go ahead and share my favorite recipes. And this is the way that I cooked it. Some of them are inspired by some recipes that I've seen on social media and online as well. And so just put my own twist on things. Like I've been trying to perfect the Reese's Pieces cheesecake. So I first had it at Cheesecake Factory. And they for $7 they give you a thin slice of cheesecake. And come on, do I look like I can do a thin slice of cheesecake?
Yeah.
And so, and so I was like, I'm gonna come home and I am going to start making it. And so over the years, I started perfecting it. And so this year, I ended up making it twice because I didn't like the way it came out. So I baked it. So the first time I baked it, and I said, well, okay, I'm gonna take the shortcut and I'm gonna use the store brand cheesecake. Well, I ain't like the way it looked. It was just I didn't like the way it tasted. I said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I said, no, keep researching. Then they said it was a no bake cheesecake. And I said, well. Oh Lord, but okay, the first one didn't come out right this time, but it did the first time I made it. It came out years ago, it came out good. So I made it no bake, and I said, "Oh, okay, this the business." So I'm gonna cross this recipe out and put the no bake in there. So yeah, so I like that I have all of my books in raw forms. Sometimes I want them to be published, but it's also a good thing that I have them with me in the raw form because I can go in and I can add things without pushing up the price for editing.
Right.
And so. So that book right there, the reason why I said that's going to be the most expensive book in my collection because I think I have close to 200 pages in it.
Oh.
Right, and then I have to turn around and add the pictures, and then you got to go get the illustrator to do the pictures, and then you got to make sure if he or she is going to do it, right, right, exactly. And so that's why that's going to be the most expensive book in my collection. But yeah,
so we can look for that on down the line.
Oh yeah, you look on.
Well, I mean, if the people start buying these books, it could be next week.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Come on, get the copies. Good. Let me tell y'all this. Lord have mercy. This is the third gem I'm dropping in this interview. So that cookbook is also going to be a closing gift for my clients. So that's the purpose.
Hey, cross.
Right, exactly. Oh, exactly. So it'll already have my information in there. So if you're ready to sell or somebody else that's ready to sell or buy, my information will be in the front and the back of the cookbook.
Latasca, your legacy message is very, very powerful. Don't sit on your talent. You say even if it's not mainstream, even if it's something that, people are not just readily jumping to have. Don't sit on it. So what would you say to the entrepreneur who is fearful or hesitant or of starting their business, writing their book, doing whatever because it's not something that they think is going to make them a big star? What would you say about the importance of just starting?
Start, you all start. And I'm gonna take this one way, then I'm gonna bring it back. Okay. So the plus size community. Okay, they think that we should just sit at home and cook all day, eat all day, and we're not supposed to do anything outside of that. And that's why I applaud people like Monique. I applaud people like Lizzo. I applaud a lot of the plus size people that are out there doing it because they're showing up anyway. They're showing up regardless. Lizzo, heavy set, sing. Monique, heavy set, acting. And they both losing weight, but they're showing up at their heaviest weight. They showed up. Kelly Price, they're showing you, hey, I got talent. I ain't gonna go sit on my talent until I lose the weight, and then I'm gonna come out and sing. Well, shoot, look at all the opportunities I would have missed if I would have just sat on my talent by waiting to get the weight off. Show up like me. I like to do area yoga. I haven't done it in a long time. And, I've had it in my mind because this is how society look at us. Oh, in order for you to do things, you have to lose weight. And that's why it took me a long time to go and start my area yoga practice. But one day I picked up the phone. I called several different area yoga studios around the Metroplex, asked the questions that I needed. All right, boom, come on down here. Your weight has nothing to do with it. That will come off. And hey, I showed up and I participated in my first ever aerial yoga event in 2018. And I got a standing ovation because to see a plus size person up on those curtains, doing different little things and all of that, that's just, it was unheard of. You don't see that in Cirque du Soleil. You don't see that in the Universal Circus, even though the idea came from Universal Soul Circus. That's my first time ever seeing aerial yoga was from Universal Soul Circus. Y'all need to come on back down here to Dallas. Y'all ain't been down here in a long time. But just don't sit on your talent. Just show up as you are. I showed up as a plus size yoga teacher, and I felt, my weight was the reason why people didn't come to me. That's just my own opinion. But hey, my weight doesn't have nothing to do with it. You didn't once hear me say anything about yoga and weight loss. I've talked about the mental benefits yoga have. Come on now, get you a practice. So just start. Look at Terry McMillan. She started out writing books. There's Wait to Exhale. What is it? How Stella Got Her Groove Back. She had two movies, I want to say, with Lifetime movie network. And that's eventually, I want my murder romance book. I want to see that on the big screen. So, I see people like Terry McMillan, I want to follow in her footsteps. I see Ava DuVernay. Is that
DuVernay?
I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
We know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and Shonda
Rhimes.
Yeah, Shonda Rhimes. Right. I look to women like that because, like I said, being a writer, a writer? You don't want to do, I think it's football, cheerleading, the athletic stuff. But to come and say,
you want to be Alice Walker.
Right.
We're not going to leave the color purple out, okay?
Right.
Not leaving them out.
Right. And I went to go see that. That was really, really nice. And they did add in plus size people in there as well, too. So don't sit on your talent, So don't let your looks, don't let your weight, don't let not having the money. Just start. Show up, start. Journal it out how you want it to look. Do a vision board. It's like you said, it's 2026. Get that vision board out. Start printing out those pictures and put them on a board and just watch them come true.
Well, thank you, Latosca. You have been, I've been in tears. Y'all, I'm telling you, I started to just cut the cameras for a couple of times because she's funny. If y'all didn't laugh, that's on y'all. But baby, she has been a key. So I have thoroughly enjoyed you. You've given us lots of gems, lots of knowledge, lots of personal stories, and we just appreciate your authenticity. We appreciate you just being raw with us, as your books are going to be raw. And we look forward to seeing you release these books. And like I said, if they come audio, that's quicker.
Yeah.
But in any case, we are so proud of you and your journey, and we just look forward to your continued success. Now, where can we find your book?
So my book is available on Amazon, that famous platform, lulupublishing.com, Barnes and Noble online.com, to name a few.
Okay, great. And you all see the links down there as we always do. So be sure to click them, write them down, whatever you have to do to support Latoska in her authorship and her writing journey.
Well, thank you all so very much for your time. Again, my name is Latoska Asbury. I am a real estate agent in the Dallas Fort Worth area, a writer, and now published author of Home Sweet New Homes, which is available wherever books are sold. And don't forget my three gems that I've given you. Start. It doesn't matter about not having the capital, the size, the look. Start if you're going to invest in real estate with family and friends. Get a joint venture, so therefore you can see who's going to do what. Because we can fall out about some money, and it doesn't matter what amount of money it is. So get the joint venture. And I know a lot of people are not going to say, no, you don't need to go and do that. No, you need to go and spell out who's going to do what. And my last piece of gem is to get down there to those law schools and let them help you turn yourself into an official business. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, just get out there and start making the money. That's true to a certain extent, but you also need to be out here operating as a business. So again, thank you all for your time, and don't forget to pick up Home Sweet New Home.
Thanks for listening to Business in the Black. If today's conversation resonated with you, be sure to follow the podcast and share this episode with someone who's building alongside you. New episodes drop bi-weekly, so stay connected with us on social media for behind-the-scenes moments and key takeaways. Until next time, keep building with intention.